And hello YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of the Zone TV Movie Entertainment with me, your host Jonathan, once again bringing you my thoughts and review for The Flash Season 3 Episode 16, Enter the Speed Force. So if you saw last week's episode, spoiler if you haven't, Wally gets sucked up into the Speed Force, and because he was tricked by Savitar so he can get released, and they obviously needed somebody to replace a speedster needs to be replaced by another speedster in the Speed Force, so that way, some weird contract loophole thing. So Barry decides, you know what, I need to go in there and go get Wally. And going into the Speed Force is basically going into the Twilight Zone. Because when he gets in there, he starts seeing people in one way or shape or form. Either he lost in his battle of being a speedster, obviously, whether it be whoever, and also people he basically messed with. Like in this case, he saw obviously Captain Cold. He turned his life around and basically just trying to give him some advice because Captain Cold was bad, and then he decided to go good when he went with the Legion. Then he saw Eddie Thawne. Obviously, Eddie Thawne sacrificed himself to get rid of the Reverse Flash. Obviously, these were all speedsters, you know, the Black Flashes. Basically, they were like Grim Reapers in a way, trying to convince him, like, oh, listen, there's no way you can get him out. I'm sorry, you have so much problems. You know, we know about you messing up the timeline again. We just, didn't do anything about it. But you know what? Whatever. Then, of course, you got to see Ronnie in this with Caitlin and a child that she never had. So, yeah, pretty dark episode, I gotta say. Not really dark like bloody or whatever, but it was pretty creepy in a weird Twilight Zone way. I mean, Barry goes in there, and he sees everybody from his past, obviously, and he's trying to get Wally. He's like, listen, let me get Wally. He's the only one who's fast enough to take out Savitar. Let me stay in his place. And the speed people in there are like, no, you have your own purpose. You got to get out there. You got to do your thing. But yeah, basically he's telling him, listen, if you try to get him out here, there's going to be consequences. And obviously Barry's kind of stupid at some points. Doesn't listen, and then he has the Black Flash chasing around and around. And while that's all happening, you have Jessie Quigg in the outside trying to basically stop Savitar her own way because she found a piece of his metal. And they use that to track him out. And everybody in the team is like, listen, Jesse, if your father was here, he'll be like, no, you can't do this. You gotta stay here. We need you. We need all the Flashes need to put this together. And obviously she didn't listen, and she wanted to go fight Savitar, which she did, and she found a very big weakness about Savitar. The way he looks, that's basically an armor. He's just a guy inside the suit. So now they have a new weapon against him. Basically, they got to figure out a way to damage his armor. So, like I said, good episode. One, obviously, the major problem, which I've been having in this entire season, is that the whole Caitlin situation. Caitlin, again, is pissing me off one more time. Again, why? Because 1 minute she's all, oh no, I'm going to die. What are we going to do? Barry, you got to help me. The next minute she's like, I love you, Barry. Let's get married. Let's do this. Let's do that. The next thing you know, she's like, oh, I can't marry you. Things are not right anymore. You only want to marry me because, I'll change the timeline. So, you don't want to be saved. You want to be saved. Make up your mind, woman. It makes no sense anymore. Honestly, I can't take Caitlin. I mean, yeah, Caitlin. Iris, sorry. Not Caitlin, wow. Iris anymore. I can't stand her anymore. Even though we all know this is not the real Iris. Obviously, after what Barry did, thanks to him, he messed up the timeline again. And, Iris is now a whiny little baby brat. Now they breaking up. I mean, what the heck does that have to do with them saving the timeline, changing the timeline? I just don't get it anymore. I don't see their chemistry. Even in season 1 and 2, their chemistry was like, okay, maybe down the road, put them together, but they kind of rushed it. I don't like how they rushed it and Barry falling in love. And that's another thing. Even though he knows his Iris is always his Iris, that's not his Iris. When he did Flashpoint, that's not his Iris. So why fall in love with her so quickly? I mean, come on. This isn't the Iris you grew up with, man. But whatever. What can you do? I mean, the whole Iris thing is just driving me nuts. I can't stand it anymore. There are days she's awesome. There are days she just complains and complains. You know, but whatever. What can you do? Anyway, still a good episode for what it was. Next week's that crossover between Supergirl and The Flash, musical style, Glee return kind of thing with Music Master. That should be good. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Oh, before I forgot the ending of the episode. Jake Garrett came out and helped Barry. He literally came from his Earth, came out to Barry's Earth, went into the Speed Force, got them both out, him and Wally, because Wally got stuck in a loophole. Rewatching his mother's death over and over and over again. So that was basically his torture. So that's kind of rough. But yeah, still a good episode. So now Jay's in there. He's the one who had to replace Wally, so Wally can get out. And now Wally's out, and now they have to find a way to get Jay back. Will it happen? Hopefully, but let's see what happens. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about The Flash if you saw it, and stay tuned for more. And thank you, and have a good day.